Hello everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise and this reading is for Saturday, December 12th, 2020. But as always, I'm looking for a timeless message to help us heal our souls. Okay, so for the theme we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Oh goodness, okay, so it's flanked by the Ace of Cups reversed and the Seven of Swords straight up. Okay, so with the Wheel of Fortune, hold on, I need my chopstick, my sacred chopstick, and of course, hold on, we need our cherished chopstick up here to help. Okay, so with the Wheel of Fortune reversed, well, goodness, we're in that area of obstacles. We're in that area of having trouble moving forward. So it's not a problem, but I think that the main message here is to notice the dice on her. She's got fuzzy dice hanging around her neck. And I think that the message there is to remember to take a risk now and then. Or maybe you've been a little too risky and now you're a little worried. That can be the issue. It depends on, it's going to be different for each one of us. But to dive more deeply into this, it feels like just to remember that we reap what we sow. It's, just looking at the image here, just remember that the world and the universe, it's inside of us. So all the universal forces of love and inspiration and creativity and divine intelligence, it's all within us. So there's no need to feel disempowered by life. There's no need to lack courage. There's also no need to keep our hearts closed. Because these two cards give me the feeling of, well, if I keep my heart closed, then no one can steal anything from me. Or no one can deceive me. If I close myself off enough, then I'm safe. But then that puts you in that realm where you're not, where we're just not opening up to life. And the biggest message when the Wheel of Fortune is reversed is just to remember that it changes, everything keeps changing. And to do your best to get out of a rut if you're feeling stuck. Now, what helps that is to get up and move, physically move around and get out of your head. And set the intention to open your heart. And just to be okay. Most of all, be okay with a little bit of a delay or any little bit of a setback. But I honestly feel like it's, again, just to remember to take a little more risk in your life. Be willing to open your heart to what you truly, truly want. And then especially when it comes to the Seven of Swords, well, sometimes it can be somebody, trying to deceive you, like I was saying, or take something from you, or someone acting just entirely, selfish, just acting on their own self-interest, and it has nothing to do, it didn't include you into the equation, that would be, of course, why we would close our hearts, right? Because this person, whoever it is, has proved themselves to be untrustworthy. There's literally a hidden agenda going on here. It can also be, if it's not that, if there's no one, pulling the wool over your eyes or trying to get away with something, it could be that it's just some type of like a snap judgment, because all the swords are of the mental realm and things can move really quickly. And, it's that place, if you don't open your heart and ask for the truth, because that's always the key, no matter what is going on. Just remember, 90% of the time when we're having trouble, it's not anything to do with us, except for it could be the past coming in order to heal. And I say that especially with the Wheel of Fortune reverse. This could be, a painful situation from the past that is up to heal. Because that's, when we're not in alignment with truth, when we're not in alignment with the laws of love and abundance and opening to a bright, big new future for ourselves, we're stuck in the past, and therefore we are not in truth. Because of course, the past is history and we have no control over it. And to focus on the past will just create more of that in the future, and we don't want that. So if this card is about betrayals in the past, and now you're feeling upside down about it, the way to move forward would be to create that change for yourself, and just ask for the truth. Ask for the truth. Go deep inside and ask, why did I close my heart off to myself, in this situation? And journal, go through feelings that come up. If you're feeling numbed out and you can't, because we can't make ourselves, feel anything unless we're really skilled actors, and that's, a whole different, that's a whole different story. But in our daily lives, we can intend to open our hearts, and we can intend to feel however we may be out of alignment with the truth, and then from there things can shift. And it's okay if you feel numb and you don't know why. Just notice that, oh, I'm feeling numb. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but just, let it be, but notice that you do have the feeling. Like, allow your feelings to change. Because if we're going to stay in this position, we're not going to change. There's not going to be a turn of events, and we're going to be like rebelling or in some type of a revolt against things that we can't change. And the only change we can really accomplish is over ourselves. So to get out of that, that cramped, like, heart place where things aren't flowing through, usually it's some type of a judgment over the past. And it could be that, somebody made a snap judgment against you, and it's not fair. And of course it's not fair, and you just need to know that when people cut off their feelings, they look to the outer world for validation, and it creates a dependency. So they most likely, if they're judging you, it's from their own fear that they haven't been willing to go through, or their own issue, which is, they're projecting it onto you. So they're disowning it and then blaming you for it. And that can be really painful to go through. It can definitely be a big problem. But this can also be a mental test, right? Because we're in swords, and we're in the sevens. Because the sevens to me are always about decisions and tests. So this could be a place where, now if it's like an exam you need to take, and you're afraid if you don't pass it you'll be upside down, and so you're in fear, because to have the Ace of Cups reversed can definitely just be primarily about a fear. And it can also be about, a painful breakup in the past, and that has you upside down, and you're wondering like why you give this person so much space in your head. And so the test can be to turn yourself around in relationship with just yourself, and don't allow any energy and time and space to this person anymore, unless you need to go back and feel some pain. And then that's okay. Let yourself feel the pain. But if you're in a place where you're afraid to feel, then just notice that and ask yourself why. Like, why? What am I afraid of feeling here? What's really going on? And work with it. Question that fear from all different angles until you have the courage to turn it around and go, oh, well, hey, I think I'm just going to love myself through this. And then no one's going to be getting away with anything over me. And I'm the only one. I make the decision over what stays in my head. Now, of course, we're human, so things can flow through our brains. It's just the way life works. Thought forms go in and out. It's what we hold on to that can be the problem when it's not based in truth. So just ask yourself, is this in truth? Am I in truth when I take this person's judgment of me to into my heart? And of course you'll find no, there's no reason to do that. Eventually you'll find that. But you have to get clear on why you would allow someone to close your heart to yourself and close your heart to your big brand new life that can be extremely, inspiring. Because you can turn this around. You can take the risk that is required to open your heart, and you can turn this all around, and everything can turn in your favor. And then this just becomes a test that you overcame, a challenge that you overcame. Because when the Wheel of Fortune is operating, perfectly in our lives, it's about us always, evaluating what's going on, working hard to get to the truth, which takes a very balanced approach. You can see she's here in like a yoga pose, trying to keep her heart open. If you just dive into the image here, I love the way Chris Ann created this deck. And it's the Light Seers Tarot, if this is your first time at my channel. Her heart is open. You can see that this person's heart is open. And she's in a balance, and she knows that she could go either way, and sometimes we do. It's just the way we are as human beings, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can see she's open to joy. You can see she's smiling. And again, the fuzzy dice that would be lucky. But also, it could be your lucky dice, and it could also be your willingness to, take a risk, like gamble with life a little bit. Because it just may pay off. And you won't know until you try. You're never going to know if anything works if you don't try. And keeping our hearts open, just setting the intention to open our hearts to loving ourselves through challenging times, that's probably going to be the best intention that you can make every day, and maybe every, hour, moment. It's one of those things that we have to do over and over and over and over again. And the love is always there. The wheel of love is always turning in the universe, and the universe is inside of us, in every cell of our bodies. That life force is always firing off and renewing. That's why people can go through, chemotherapy or other cancer treatments that like kill off all the cells, but they don't die because they can't, because it's your life force and your contract with your higher self and your universal intelligence, your divine intelligence inside of your body that decides when you leave, or how you, or the fact that you want to stay and you want to fight and hang in there. So, I mean, that's the living proof that that divine intelligence that's always firing off inside of you is actually there. It's not. I'm not just speaking to some like pie in the sky, like, blow sunshine up your, what. I'm not doing that. I'm telling you the truth. So the truth is that the love is always there. It's inside the nucleus of every cell in your body, and you can use that to turn the world, to turn your world in your favor. And as you do that, you'll be aligning with the truth, and people aren't going to be able to get away with things anymore in your life. They're not going to be able to lie and deceive you, and because you know the truth. You know the truth about your life and the way the universe works. And these things can just kind of go by the wayside. And this is a decision and a test that you have to make. It's a decision you have to make to open up to the love, even when it doesn't feel like love, even when something terrible happens or somebody is, really testing your patience. This is also a card of like scammers, scam artists. So if something like that happened to you, do not judge yourself harshly, and do not close your heart off to yourself as you go through this challenging time. Love yourself through it, and know that, you won't do it again, because you're going to research and understand all the different ways people can be scammed, and that this is valuable information that we need going forward. So it's actually an opportunity to not allow manipulation to happen anymore. It's about becoming wiser, with the way people can communicate lies and half-truths, which is still a lie. If part of it's true and part of it's false, you're still in the middle of a lie. It's not gonna, it's not gonna get you what you want, because it's going nowhere. It doesn't go, If it's a total lie, then okay, no, don't go that way. If it's a total truth, okay, that's I can count on that. When it's half lie and half truth, it's a mental manipulation, and it's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to be stuck. But when you figure out that it's half truth and half lie, when you figure out it's still a lie, if it's not the complete truth, then there you go. You'll know. And that's what this card is all about. It can sometimes be a card of having to go back and pick up something that you left behind. Because in the natural order, I don't know if I could find, hold on, let me see if I can find the, if I can quickly find the Six of Swords or not. It's in the natural order, it's blue, there's a lot of blue in it. Oh, here it is, okay. So in the natural order of the tarot, this card is, of course, before the Six of Swords, before the Seven of Swords. And notice how, she's had to get away from some challenging situation and move to calmer waters, this is the card of like immigration. It's the card of moving on. It can be travel, relocation, but it's a healing card. Usually, it's usually a very healing card. A card of some type of, like a relief in your life. And then you get to the new land, and you realize, oh, I forgot a couple of things. I don't know if I can even go back. You might not be able to go back. and you know, pick up those two other swords, because you traditionally in the traditional Rider-Waite, the guy has 5 swords and there's 2 that are left, and we don't know, like we don't know why. Is it because he left 2 behind so that they wouldn't notice that all 5, I mean all 7 swords were stolen? Like is it some kind of tricky ploy like that? Or is it that he couldn't carry them all? You know, like what was it about? We don't really know, but we do know the main message is that there are 2 swords that are left behind, and I think that's why there's a couple of birds, a couple of feathers flying off, and we're supposed to remember that there's 5 swords in his pack here, or maybe 4, and here's the other one in his hand. Well, who knows? But the main message here in the the chronological or the sequence of these 2 cards is to know that you can move to calmer waters, and you may or may not be able to go back and pick up this, you know, those last 2 swords, but maybe you can, because maybe this wasn't travel or immigration or some relocation where you can't go back, or maybe you can you know, call and say, hey, you know, the moving company, I left a couple of boxes behind, can those be found? So those things can happen, and then the moving forward would be about seeing if you left anything behind, or letting go if you just can't. Because the next card that comes after is the 8 of Swords, which is about restriction. So, and you know, the swords, the whole suit of swords, they're not easy, because it's all about mental. It's all about mental, you know, ideas, and you know, those things that we need to work with in order to heal. The swords can very well be looked at as to you know, ego fragmentation, like where you have an idea about something that's actually wrong, and it could be about the way you think, you know, the world works, or the way you deserve or not deserve certain things in life. It can be very convoluted sometimes, so you have to get inside. The trick is to always find the truth, and keep opening your heart to yourself, and not judging yourself as you work through these decisions and tests, because we're all working through our false beliefs. It's a very human predicament here on the planet, and there's no reason to judge ourselves harshly, or even judge others, you know, unless they're, you know, just plain old cruel and evil, and they're not trying to get the lesson. Then, you know, the man-made laws are going to come down on them sometime, and they're going to have to sit in a jail cell or a prison and think about what they've done, and then maybe they'll get their lesson, maybe. But for us, it's always about looking for the truth and keeping our hearts open to ourselves again, and loving ourselves through it as we discern what's truth and what's not. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you so much, the Sacred Chopstick and the Cherished Chopstick. We're all done. Thanks, you guys. Take good care, as always. Bye.